Yoy! Welcome back to another Straight Smoke gaming video, and our last couple of videos have not been really focused on beginners or beginner really anything. We did a PvP video, and I'm sure you guys got a good laugh out of that. Had a couple of grinders trying to get sweaty and get good, and I myself got absolutely smoked on Straight Smoke Gaming in that, and I'll be looking for redemption very soon. But back to what we're talking about today. Today we're looking at beginner vehicles, and we set we're going to do a top 5, which seems to be pretty popular on YouTube, and we're going to be going with the top 5 vehicles for under 500k. We're looking only at vehicles that are under $500,000. Now, with number 5, this is a vehicle, I can't pronounce the first word, the Bachi, Hawachi, Chewbacca, Maserati. That's what's number 5. And I first driven this vehicle while I'm doing CEO work. No, not CEO work, the import-export business. This is one of the vehicles you can steal. I believe it is a mid-range car. And when I drove it when I was stealing it on the import-export business, I like how it handled. I liked how it looked, so I went ahead and bought one. And I drove it. Ooh, there's a nice little, that worked out in my favor. Spin right around. So this is number 5. It's $275,000. So it's about halfway up to our limit that we set, and it's a pretty good vehicle. It's not bad for the price, but it is number 5, and the reason it's number 5 is the handling wasn't as good as I wanted, so that's why I've dubbed it number 5. But still, not too bad of a vehicle for the price. All right. Now we're moving on to number 4, and Wildcat, aka Orb Smoke, will be discussing number 4.
Today's number 4 vehicle will be the Pegasus Taurus. It's the only SUV on this list. It's also the fastest SUV in the game. It's pretty good, and the only reason why we put it at number 4, it would be higher, but it's 498,000, I think. Yeah, 498,000, which is pretty pricey. It's only 2,000 off from the list, from the cap of this video. And then if you want to do SUV races, this is the ultimate vehicle. It's the fastest, like I said, so this is the best vehicle if you want to do SUV races. And it handles pretty well, despite straight bosses driving in this clip.
Yeah, as you can see there, I spun myself out. I haven't driven this vehicle in easily 2 months, but I've won several races with this vehicle. It is faster than the other SUVs in the game. It beats the Novak, which is one of the newer SUVs. So yeah, if you want to win some races, you got to spend a little bit of money. Like I said, this is $2,000 short of the cap that we set. But this vehicle is worth the money. It's 4 doors, so it does hold 4, and we think it's worth the price. So that's our number 4 vehicle. Now moving on to number 3. This is another vehicle here that is the Feltzer. This is another vehicle that I've driven before and doing the import-export business under the CEO. Again, I highly recommend it. Before you start buying fancy cars and expensive cars, do the import-export business for CEO. You get to essentially test drive a lot of these vehicles. So you can pick and choose what you like, what you don't like. You know, that looks sharp, but how does it handle? Oh, it handles like crap? No, I'm not wasting my money on that. This is one of the vehicles that I liked, and I put it at number 3. Its price is only $145,000, so that's relatively cheap. And in fact, this is the second cheapest vehicle on the list, and it's a sharp looking ride. I like its looks. I'm a big fan of the benefactor cars. This is the benefactor Feltzer, and it's a sharp ride. It looks mean. I love that benefactor logo on the front. And we actually have 2 cars that are the benefactor vehicles on this list. And again, everything on this list is a matter of opinion. This is mostly my opinion with a little bit of insight from Orb Smoke. But you know, any top 5 normally is someone's opinion on YouTube. Here you can see I'm getting ready for a race. I'm going through. This is a sports class race, and here you can look at most of these cars are fully modded anyway. That's a good one. That would almost made the list. That was my first car, the Paragon. That car almost made the list. And there, right there's number 2 is the Dinka Jester. The Grotti, the Itali Grotti. You're going to see this next clip coming up here. The Dinka Jester versus the Itali Grotti, and there's a huge price difference. And the Dinka Jester, this is number 2, and this vehicle is $250,000. That's relatively cheap. It's a sports car, as is most of the cars besides the SUV. Everything was dubbed a sports car on this list. You're going to need to spend more money for a supercar. But for the cap of under $500,000, this car is only half of the cap that we set. You can see here I'm racing against 8 other people. See, this chode spins me out. Takes the lead, and you can see that guy was using the Itali Grotti. He's using the Grotti. The Grotti is $1.9 million. So I led 3/4 of this race with a car that's only $250,000. He's using a car that is 1.9, and it took him 3/4 of the race to catch me. And as you can see here, as you look at the mini map, he really doesn't pull too far ahead of me. If he is pulling ahead, it's not by much, it's very little. If he would have did one little spin out or hit the brake a little bit too long on a turn, I could have passed him again and won this race. But I have used this car in races before and beat vehicles. I mean, you got to look at this guy won using the Grotti. That's $1.9 billion, and I'm using a car that is $250,000. So yeah, the fact that I can even hang with him is embarrassing for the Grotti, in my opinion. And as much as it's embarrassing for the Grotti, it speaks volumes about the Dinka Jester. So that's number 2, and I really wanted to make it number 1 because that was one of my first favorite cars ever. I love the name, I love how it looks, and it can hold its own. It has balls. Speaking of balls, here's number 1. Oddly enough, it's another benefactor car. It is the benefactor Shafter V12, and make sure you get the V12 because there are other shafters out there. We're looking at the V12. You can make it armored if you want. Armored is the $325,000. The armor really only saves you from missiles. I think it can eat 1 missile, which that's not worth it to me because anyone that has a missile will blow you up with the second one anyway. So we're just at the price. I think it was what, $116,000 unarmored. And this vehicle I driven from promoting your nightclub. If you have a nightclub, this is Tony Prince's vehicle, as I just used the horn there. Based on this price, this vehicle is sharp, handles relatively well. You can see its stats there that I showed on Legendary Motorsports. The speed and acceleration, pretty damn good for a vehicle that's only a hair over $100,000. And how I knew this handled well was, like I said, promoting the nightclub. Tony Prince's car that he gives you is you're driving around the city and picking up a couple of chodes, and it flies through the city. It handles well, and you can't beat the price. This is dubbed the sports car. I never used it in a race, but based on its traction, I think it would hold its own. And it looks like a luxury vehicle, like a lot of the benefactor cars do. And this chode really wants my shafter. Well, he's gonna get a kick in the nuts and a punch to the face. Give me that cash. Always needed money. Anyway, that's the #1 car. That's a benefactor shafter. There it is. It'll blow your fucking mind. Buy it. Alright. And that about wraps up our top 5 vehicles for under $500,000. I hope you enjoyed it. We're looking forward to a couple other videos that we have coming up. We got some ideas we're throwing around. We're gonna do videos every $500,000, so we'll have a top five vehicles for under $1 million. That'll be our next top 5 that we do for vehicles. Anyway, we do got some other ideas we're thinking about doing, but we'll have another video up in the next couple of days. And go ahead and click back. Go ahead, drop a like and subscribe, please. And during these troubled times, I just want to touch on and make sure, let everyone know to stay safe and definitely stay healthy. Wash your hands. Thank you for your time.